So I've been thinking recently that there has to be a correlation between why people don't like the word improvement or lean and what is known as the Jidoka principle. Stay tuned. So with the Jidoka principle, we really get to dive in on 3 of these 5 steps that are amazing when it comes to takt planning and construction. Now, the Jidoka principle can apply to anything, whether it's processes, task management, logistics, deliveries, design, whatever it is, Jidoka can apply to all of it. But I'll talk about it within the framework of takt planning because I'm Spencer Easton and that's what I focus on. So let's talk about it. Step 1. The standardization of visualization. It's important to do that so that we can see things, which is step number 2. Seeing the abnormalities. When something doesn't fit in its place, there's something wrong there. Something wrong with the process. Not wrong with us, not wrong with anyone. It's wrong with the process. So we can see the things wrong with the process when we have the standardization of visuals or the visualization of those things so that we can improve them. Let's go to step number 3. This one is super difficult, and I said the bottom 3 are the difficult ones, right? Standardization and visualization. But seeing that is easy if you set that standard. 3 is hard because it's hard to have that culture of pulling the on or stopping production, right? In the Toyota production system, they had a cord, right, that you would pull and it would stop production. And everyone would swarm around that thing, and then they'd fix that problem. Then they'd start production back up. But that's harder to do than actually say. In construction, I don't know if it's our culture, if it's our industry, or maybe it's the United States, but it is difficult for us to stop production. It's always go, 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 right? But being able to have that culture of stopping production so that we can swarm and fix that problem and get everyone going at the same rate, the same distance apart, that is the key. And it's possible with takt planning. So now we're going to get into the last 2 steps, which is fix the immediate problem and then do the root cause fixing, which is removing that actual root cause. And I'll tell you a little story from someone that I used to work with, Will from A-Forma. Shout out to the A-Forma folks. Miss working with you guys. But Will told me a story that was so great with these last 2 steps. A lot of times we have problems. And he told me they're like if we had our house and we were all inside and the door was wide open and there's a grizzly bear standing in the door. A lot of times those are our problems. And a lot of times we also have problems of maybe there's spilt honey in the house or something like that. Maybe there's, I don't know, some sort of problem that is bringing the bears to the house. But we still have a bear in the door. And we have to fix that problem. Like, we gotta get rid of this bear. And unless we do something about that right here, right now, like, things do not bode well for us. So we gotta fix the problem with the bear in the door. And we have, maybe it's a jar of honey that's spilled. We have the spilled jar of honey, and bears can smell that for miles and miles and miles. So all these grizzly bears are headed our way because of that jar of honey. But if we don't spend our time getting the bear out of the door, then like we're not going to be alive to fix the jar of honey. But that's the order of operation, one after the other. Pull the on, fix the bear in the door, and fix the honey jar. And then we continue with the process. Because if we're not fixing the root cause, the bear's just going to keep coming back into the door. And we're always going to just be removing bears from the door. So we'll get really good at removing bears from the door. Thus, what I or others might call firefighting, right? Or fighting off the bears, like that's what we become. We're just fending off the bears instead of fixing that problem and never having to fend off that bear ever again. And maybe they come in through the back door. Okay, now we got to fix that process. What's the process broken there? But you can see the bottom 3 are the most important. Setting that standard of visualization so that we can actually stop it, so we can fix the root cause. The top 2 are just part of the process. The seeing the abnormality, seeing that something is different from the standard or from the visual. and then fixing the bear in the door or fixing that immediate problem. That has to happen, or else we will pass something on, or let's talk about it with like a process in a schedule, right? If you're painting and you paint the wrong color, and wait, like our visual standards show us that this is incorrect or something, right? If we see that and we don't fix that immediate thing, well, we're gonna have to come back and retape and all this stuff in this room and reset up after the fact. Or maybe it's that the wall isn't plumb, or like something, like whatever it is, right? If we don't fix that problem right here, right now, it'll be a harder problem down the line. So fixing the quality at the source and improving that process right there is the name of the game with Jidoka, but not all of it. We have to move on to that final step of fixing the root cause in the moment when we find those things, so that we're continually improving the standards and the process. Let's apply this to Takt planning. So if you had a work package within your Takt plan that happens from this area to this area to this area, let's go back to paint. So paint is paint everywhere. So now that we have that standard visualization of, okay, this is the paint that, you know, it's the same in every single area, whether you have a lot of it or not. Let's say that you have glass walls all in one room, and then in the next room, it's all painted walls. Well, from that room to that room, is the work amount equal? No. But are those two areas Takt zones? Maybe, maybe not. And if they're not, the idea with Takt zones is getting your areas equal by amount of scope. So that's a standard that whenever you're doing paint, it's a set of processes to follow. So it's the standard now. When we come into an area, we set up to do paint, we do X, Y, Z, P, D, Q. And when you go to start doing that and something's wrong, that's right when the process starts. Seeing it because it's visual. We had that visual task list. We had that visual whatever. And from there, we can see so that we can stop, fix it for now, fix it for later, move on now that we have a better standard. You can see that from Takt, because it's the highest visualization and higher standardization of being able to see location by time and process over time from area to area to area, because of that standardization of visualization, it is the best tool for planning and scheduling because it takes into account the Jidoka principle of being able to set high standard visualizations and be able to see those abnormalities and then fix them after we stop and swarm around the problem. So I hope that you've enjoyed learning a little bit deeper of how Jidoka really applies best with Takt planning. I invite you to my online Takt training course so that you can learn these principles more in depth, how to do Takt planning and control on your construction project starting today. I hope that you'll click the link down in the description if you're interested. Thanks for joining, and we'll see you in the next one.